Hi, you clicked onto today's tropical tidbit for Wednesday. Things to look at over here in the Atlantic. We've got Invest 93L still trying to puff up convection east of the center, which is back over here. Even got some cells going off southwest of it now, which is interesting, but this is now stalling as it tries to recurve, as it starts its turnout, and still might get enhanced by the short wave that's recurving it, and if it can get enough upper divergence and convection close enough to the center, we could still see this try to get classified. We'll see how it goes, but right now, still not much of a system. Won't be much on the way out, but we'll see if it impresses the NHC any better than it has so far. It's been painted red hatched area for high probability for development by the Hurricane Center for days now. We'll see if they finally jump on it. This is an area that I mentioned yesterday should be yellow hatched. It got shaded yellow. It's a nice little vort max in here, but this is moving into a confluent environment aloft, and therefore convection is getting suppressed. You can see that there's a few popcorn showers, but not much with it. Should be watched further west if it remains an intact system down the road, but shouldn't be too much of a threat in the immediate future. This over here is Tropical Depression 4. Now we zoom in and wonder what the heck happened overnight. Look at this thing over here. Big envelope, very broad. Where the heck is the center? There's a big elongated center. This is probably the king of all elongated centers you will ever see. Looks like the strongest spin is in here. The Hurricane Center chose the mean position of the whole storm instead of the wind center, which is about here. Forecast track still comes into the river over here, and looks good overall. The storm is getting suppressed again from the east by the ridge that I was talking to you about yesterday. Upper easterlies keeping the outflow pretty much nil on this side of the system. Shear's not as bad as it was with Bonnie, but it's enough to keep this in check. System's pretty disorganized right here. It'll be interesting to see if this can get named before it comes ashore. The Hurricane Center still has this becoming Danielle right here, right near landfall. We'll see if it tries to tighten up. The thing about this ridge is as this comes around it over here, eventually it'll get into an environment that's more defluent aloft, and it could try to ramp up as it comes inland right near the coast, and even as it comes inland could see it try to tighten up a center. Right now though, broad, not a big deal. Rain showers, that's it. These winds are not very strong in here at all. Not a big deal for these folks except just some rain. And the interesting thing is that the GFS has been hitting something with the last few runs on this. It brings it around the ridge, meanders it around up here for a while in the southeastern states, and then it brings it back down into the Gulf just south of Louisiana, has another trough split backing away over here, and it tries to redevelop this over here over the northern Gulf. You can see it winds this up. This is 7 days from now, next Wednesday, and yesterday it had a pretty big feedback going on over here. It had a hurricane developing just east of New Orleans over here yesterday, right along the coast. It has this barely sneaking down over the water and really winding up over that hot coastal shelf water, and just bombing out over here. Now this is a situation where you have the jet stream pressing down. This is the 200 millibar for the same time frame. You have the jet stream pressing down. Now what we have right now with TD5 is the ridge is all right here, the deep layer ridge, so you get shearing over here. You want the ridge over the system to develop it, but when you have the jet stream pressing down like this, if we see a second coming of Tropical Depression 5, if you press it down in here, you press the ridge because the jet stream is farther south. You press the upper ridge over the northern Gulf Coast. You got the system sitting underneath, and you get a whole bunch of ventilation. Nice outflow channel here, big ventilated area, and you can get a blowing up situation. And this is what it has been showing, is the potential for a perfect homegrown mischief situation, basically. Something like Hurricane Humberto and Alicia in 1983 pulled off in the northern Gulf. Alicia became a Cat 3 coming into Houston in just a couple days as she came across the Gulf. So this is something to watch for, to see if this comes back around. Another trough split comes by, they get stuck under an upper ridge, and bam, off it goes. Feedback over here right near the coast over that very hot water. So something to keep an eye on. And also, I'm going to mention this again, this is the GFS ensembles. MSLP means sea level pressure over here. Again, large deviations within the ensemble members means that the majority of them are showing a hurricane developing over here in the central Atlantic and coming this way towards the southeast Atlantic coast. And this is something to continue to watch for over here, and look who's picking up on it now. This is the Canadian ensemble mean sea level pressure, day 15. Check this out. showing a storm off the southeast U.S. coast in 15 days. Right there. This is the first time it's shown it. Something to keep an eye for. It's also showing pretty low pressures in the western Gulf. Have to see if something tries to sneak up in there in 10 to 15 days, given the pattern. And here's the rainfall with this. Probability of 12-hour precipitation exceeding 10 millimeters. Check out it right there off the Outer Banks. No rain anywhere else, at least this amount of rain, so you can see where it's seeing the storm over here with the heaviest precip. And check out the naves. Also showing something. Notice these colors over here representing, again, disagreement within the ensemble members, and you can see the kink in the isobar over here. So it's also trying to show a storm in 15 days off the southeast U.S. coast, right off the Carolinas, in the same spot that the Canadian's showing it. There's the naves in the exact same spot, and there's the precipitation with that. You can see all the rain coming in right over here. Potential culprits for this may already be on the map. Oops, let me get down here. This always does this to me. Alright, this is Africa over here. We got the wave train. If there's a wave that's going to come off and develop, it'll be coming off in about 7 days over western Africa. So that would probably be this wave right now over southwestern Sudan. I looked at the GFS forecast. It brings this across and has this in here in 7 days. This is likely what it's showing. So this wave back here, I'll be tracking it across the continent. This one would also be trouble, but the models have it going up over here, taking another northern route through the monsoonal low and getting embedded in dry air. Otherwise, very impressive looking. If this were coming west, this would probably try to develop it. As it is, it doesn't look like it's much of a problem up here. This should be watched as it comes across in a week. And again, even if, I mean, the models might drop this, but if we look at the overall pattern, this is something we still have to watch. This is the GFS, and look at the positive height anomaly at 500 millibars again in 2 weeks, setting up over the northeast. And even if the models drop the storm, you have to watch underneath. Things love to cause trouble underneath ridges over here. And this over here is teleconnected very nicely by the ridging over the Aleutians and the troughing over the eastern Gulf of Alaska. And this is a pattern that is reminiscent of cold PDO years from back in the 50s when stuff like this happened. This is the 50s were years when the Carolinas got absolutely nailed by all sorts of storms. You had Connie, Diane, a whole ton of storms coming into the Carolinas during that decade. And we're heading back into that same climate cycle with the cold PDO, and where things like this start to develop and you get major impact years on the United States. So watch underneath, keep an eye out for this stuff. We'll keep sniffing out where our next storm may brew up. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.